What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is Atlanta, Season 12, Episode number 2, titled Cheating Hearts. So, you guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. And I'm sorry that this video is late, but unfortunately, I got sick last night, and I just did not feel like doing the video. So, you're getting it this morning, so let's get into it. Alright, so we see Cynthia. She's the first person we saw this episode. So we saw her, and she was meeting up with Candy. And, they were talking about the baby. And we find out that Candy is not prepared for this baby yet. At this point, it looks like the baby might be sleeping with she and Todd. And then, they start to talk about this whole thing between Portia, them, and Kenya. And Candy was like, I don't know why Kenya took it upon herself to tell Portia some information that she did not get firsthand. And I'm like, I think Kenya was actually in a good, coming from a good place. But I get it, that was something that, me, Cynthia, and Eva, we are gonna tell Portia ourselves. But now it looks like I'm being messy when I'm not. Which, yeah, we can see that. So then Portia does join them, and they asked Portia, has she gone back to work yet? And she was like, no. She's like, she's talking about how she cries. And I'm like, I think Portia might, on top of dealing with this whole shit with Dennis, Portia might be suffering some postpartum or some separation anxiety from her baby. And, she asked him, like, how come y'all waited to tell me the news on this girl? And, Candy was like, well, she just didn't want it to look messy. Like, the girl comes to the OLG. Of course, anybody who sees that is going to be like, okay, Candy, we going down the wrong road, girl. The wrong road. So, yeah, I definitely see it. And then Cynthia asks, like, what is going on with Portia? And Portia's like, Dennis is still in the house, but I want him to be a good father to our child. And I agree. I'm like, okay, we all know that they're back together, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time because Portia's up. I mean, not next, but we're gonna talk about Portia a little bit later. So we also did see Cynthia with Noelle. So Noelle is back home from college, and they're talking about Cynthia's relationship with Mike. Congratulations to those two. The relationship is corny, but I mean, it works for Cynthia, and I'm happy for Cynthia. So I'm not gonna, talk about that too long. But the one thing that I do want to bring up is the fact that Noelle. So Noelle was talking about how she was in school, and she met some guys that she liked, and she also met some girls that she liked. And Cynthia was like, so, and she said in her confessional or her post interview, she said that Noelle says she's fluid, and I love the fact that Cynthia is so supportive of her in this whole journey. Because, Noelle was talking about she doesn't like labels, which I know a lot of people don't like labels. Either you're straight, you're gay, or you're bi. Well, you love who you love. And I understand that completely, and I agree with, Noelle. She's a beautiful young lady, and she's a very smart young lady. So Cynthia did an amazing job raising that young lady. But, Cynthia says, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. So then we see lastly of the episode with Cynthia. We saw her at a bridal shop. I'm like, oh my God, Cynthia, how long are y'all gonna stretch this out until she gets engaged to, #chill, as my girl Forrest Rocks calls him. But no, she's at this bridal shop because she's looking for a dress to go to New York City Pride. So she has Eva there and she has Candy there with her. So, now this relationship between Eva and Cynthia this season, it's weird. It's like, it's kind of like when she had that weird relationship with Nene, when she first came on the show. It just seemed like that again. I'm like, girl, please do not bring out a friendship contract. That's all I ask is no friendship contract. So, Candy asked, actually, they start talking about, no, before they talked about Portia, they talked about Nene. Because Nene is also going to be at New York City Pride. And actually, they showed a preview of it for next week's episode with New York City Pride. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's all Housewives because I know I saw Dorinda. I saw Sonia from New York. I saw Kelly Dodd. Who else did I see? I know I saw those three. I saw Kelly. I think I saw Margaret. I'm not positive, but I know I saw Kelly, Dorinda, and Sonia. I know for a fact I saw those three. Um, but you know, they said so. Candy asked him, so if Nene comes up to you guys, will you speak to her? And Eva's like, she say, hey girl, and you know, Cynthia said, you know, if she's cordial, I'll be cordial. So then we talk about this whole, you know, thing about Portia telling Kenya that Eva did not want to bring her kids to the party because, you know, she didn't know Kenya. Now, I do understand that part. If Eva had just said that, you know, Kenya's someone that I don't really know that well. So I just, you know, I have a little reservation of being around Kenya and my kids. I would have understood that a lot more than her just saying, oh, you know, when it comes to these kind of parties, we never know what's gonna happen. It's a kids' party, Eva. So I definitely, if she had just said, you know, this is my first interaction with Kenya, I would just like to have, you know, one interaction with Kenya solo, and then you know we'll go from there. But it was a party for her daughter, so I mean it wasn't much that Kenya was gonna do, but whatever. And I did not like the fact that Eva just kept trying to rip into Portia. Like, you just had a C-section, you know, you all in the blogs. Okay, Eva, you're always in the blogs too. Like your baby daddy in the blogs. But that's not something we're talking about, is it? But, you know, I just didn't appreciate that part. I thought that was tacky of her. But we're gonna move on. All right, next up is Eva. So we see Eva. So Eva's at Dish Nation and she's getting her makeup done. And, you know, she's talking to the brat. And, you know, then Cynthia calls her. And this is actually going to be really short because it really wasn't much to this scene. Because, again, it's more of Eva kind of bashing I'm not Kenya, but Portia. Because Cynthia, you know, calls her saying that basically she should be at home and Portia should be there. But, like, I get it. Eva is pregnant with her you know, her third baby, but Portia just had her baby and like, you know, 6 weeks maternity leave. I don't know how long, I really don't know how long Portia was on maternity leave. But if Portia had, I mean, like I said, Portia went through a lot of stuff at this time. Dennis cheated on her. She has a brand new baby. So, you know, what do you expect the girl to do? Like, really, what did y'all expect for her to do? Y'all know what she's going through, but y'all just want her to just be like, oh, okay, he cheated. Let's go back to work. Oh, okay, I just had a baby. She's fine. Let me find a like. Yes, Portia does have the means to do all this stuff, but like, like I said, she could. It's quite possible Portia could have postpartum depression. We don't know that, and they're not saying that, and she's not saying it. So there are a lot of factors that could keep Portia from going back to work, and I just don't appreciate them, you know, trash talking her like it's not cool. Especially Eva. I just don't think this shit is cool. Like Eva, I mean, you don't. I mean, you might not need the job 100%, but shit, bitch, it's another paycheck being on Dish Nation. It's another check. So check that off. As Candy said, don't check for me unless you got a check for me. Like, I love her tagline. I love Candy's tagline, and I love Portia's tagline as well. Bye ashes. That's the only part I remember is bye ashes. But yeah, and you know, this is where Cynthia, she asked, they brought up the conversation, like I said, they brought up the conversation to Kenya. It is what it is. Eva chose not to bring her kids. Cool. That's her decision. That's her prerogative. Those are her kids. They came out of her vagina. So those are her kids to, you know, she can make whatever choices she wants to make for her kids. So then, you know, they're setting up for them to go do the shopping for the New York City Pride, which I've already talked about. And we're going to move on. All right, so next we got Kenya. Now, Kenya didn't have much this episode either. But we finally saw that she finally was able to get in contact with her husband, Mark. So, you know, she's FaceTiming with him so she can see Brooklyn. And I don't know if he will be happy. I don't know if he's happy with this portrayal of him on this TV show, but it did not look good at all. Like his our actual first time seeing him on the show. I'm not counting season 10. This time I'm counting this. Like, it just was not a good look at all. Like, it really was not a good look because he came off very controlling, and I'm just like, you know, telling Kenya to get the dogs away from Brooklyn. Now, I do get it. She's a baby, so yeah, you wouldn't want the dogs trying to lick her and whatnot, but damn. And then, you know, he's talking about, look at her hair. She looks like a little boy, and you got gel in her hair. And Kenya was like, you know, I would never put artificial stuff in her hair. And she does not look like a little boy. And she doesn't look like a little boy. I mean, what makes her look like a little boy? The fact that her hair is slicked down? I mean, she's a gorgeous, beautiful little baby girl. So beautiful. And you can tell she's a little girl. Like, she is. So, like I said, Mark just made himself look like the asshole and a controlling person. Wow. I was just like, really, Kenya? But I mean, if Kenya likes it, I love it. So then we also see Kenya and Cynthia. They go to, I guess, like a voodoo shop or something. We see that Cynthia cannot parallel park, and we see that Kenya does not know how to work her fucking car because the door was still open. I'm like, girl, you're talking about the door closed, but your Tesla is still sitting open. Damn, how much money do they make? A Tesla? Like, those are expensive cars. Ooh. I would love to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, any Real Housewives. I know they make some kind of money. They might not make a lot of money, but damn. I wonder how much the Dallas Housewives make. I need to look that up. But, you know, Kenya, you know, feels slighted by Cynthia because Cynthia is her friend and she took up for Eva. I get it. Definitely do get it. And, you know, again, Cynthia said the same thing that I just said a few minutes ago. Yes, Eva doesn't know Kenya, but what the fuck do y'all think Kenya's gonna do at a kid's party? What do you expect her to do? You think she's gonna come up to Eva's little daughter Marley? Hey Marley, whop, slap the little girl? Or her son, Michael Sterling. Hi Michael. You know, he has his bottle in his mouth. Whoop, no bottle for you. Like, what did y'all think she was gonna do? Like, I just want somebody to explain it to me. What did they think Kenya was gonna do at a kid's party? Now, yes, if this was an adult's party, if this was just if this was just a housewives party, I'd be like, yep, Eva, I get it. Let your kids stay at home. Don't bring your kids. But it wasn't a housewives party. Technically it was, but technically it wasn't. But, you know, we gonna move on because I'm on, actually, I hate to say it, but I'm on I don't hate to say it. I'm actually on Kenya's side, surprisingly. All right, you guys, and let's move over to Candy. So we see Candy in this episode. She is at a bounce place with Ace, and who joins her? Marlo. Now, let's put this out. Let's put a little disclaimer out here before we go any further. It's because we see Marlo in this episode, and it's so nice and refreshing to see Marlo without, you know, Nene and her being attached to Nene's ass. But let's put this little bitty disclaimer out there, just, you know, real quickly. So, last season at the reunion, I got a lot of grief in my comments about what I said about Nene in my review of the reunion last year. And the famous words of Lanithia Nene Leaks, I said what I said. Now, once I record this video, I edit it and I upload it. After that, it's done. So you can argue in the comment section, but it's already done. It's a done deal once it's posted. And I'm not going to go back on what I said. And I don't know these people. So, I'm just going off of what we see on television. And I might go off of some stuff that we see in the blogs, but it's just a television show. I don't know these people. You don't know these people. So, when it comes to these comments, keep it, you know, we can just, if we agree to disagree, that is totally fine. But don't try to attack me, like, because I'm really, number one, I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody. Number two, I don't care. Once I post a video, that's it. Period. Point blank. And it also goes for any Kenya stands. If Kenya does something this season that I don't agree with, remember, once I post it, it's over. You can be like, you can say, you know, I don't agree with you, but I see where you're coming from. Or you can just say, I don't agree with you. And I'd be like, you know, and you can put your point down. And I'll read it. And if I, you know, be like, and I'll say, okay, I see that point, but I still, you know, stand where I stand, and we can agree to disagree, because I've done that plenty of times before. I've told people we can agree to disagree, but I definitely see your point. So, with that being said, let's talk about this. So, Marlo, she's a Muntie? That sounded so bad. But, you know, what it is her sister, I think she said her oldest sister, her kid, one of her nephews, texts her saying, "Auntie, come and get me because they're taking my mom." And she's like, "Who? The police?" She says, "No, the mental ward." I'm like, "Oh no." I think she said she's schizophrenic. I was just like, "Oh, that poor woman." Like, I hope she gets the help that she needs. And then Candy was like, "Well, when Riley was first born, she took in one of her cousins, and she has faith that what is this? Marlo's gonna get it together." And she asked had she saw any of the girls, and she says no. And then she says, "Well, Nene texted me on my birthday," and I was quite confused because I didn't know where where we left off. Which the reunion again. Nene was before the reunion last year, and I remember watching Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and I'm just like, wow, why is she going so hard for the cast when ain't nobody said shit about her? But whatever. And where we at? But I love the fact that Candy said, it would be nice for the girls to get to know Marlo out from under Nene's ass. And I think aside from her her always talking about her fashions and everything, Marlo seems like a genuine, a nice person. Like, she seems like a good, kind-hearted person. It's just the fact that she's so up Nene's behind that she can't see her way out of her nose. And I mean, that's what her third nose job. But I just wish that Marlo would. I know why Marlo. I feel like I know why Marlo does what she does. Attaching herself to like people like Kenya. And I'm not saying anything bad about Kenya. I'm just saying, we remember when her and Nene fell out, she became Kenya's friend, and then when she and Kenya fell out, she went back to being Nene's friend. I feel like Marlo needs someone big on the show so that she can stay on the show because what season? Because there was a season that she wasn't really on here. I believe it was season 9. I think it was season 9 that she was on the season, but she wasn't really on the season. So, touche. But we're going to move on. And then lastly, you guys, my girl, Portia. So we see Portia. She's with her friend Shamia. She comes over with her daughter. And Portia's telling Shamia that Daddy spent the night with me last night. And Shamia's like, how that happened? She's like, so, PJ, she had a doctor's appointment, and Dennis came, and on the way home, Dennis wanted to get something to drink, so we got something, and then we came home, and, we watched a movie, but it wasn't really a movie, it was a series, so, he wanted to see how the series ended, and then, I'm a human, and, we ended up having sex. I'm a human. Yes, Portia, we know you're a human. It's okay. And you just had your 6 weeks, so you're okay. So Shamia asked her, so what does that mean? She's like, I don't know what that means, but I know Dennis says that we should go to counseling. But if we go to counseling, I don't, I want him to tell me what happened, but I don't know if I really want to hear that or not. So I just don't know. And Shamia was like, you should definitely go to counseling, Portia. Like, I think would be beneficial to you and to Dennis. And I agree. Yes, Portia might not want to hear what Dennis has to say about, sleeping with other women. But if you want to make your relationship work with him, absolutely do counseling. And we're going to talk about this counseling in just a second. So we see Portia, and she's getting ready to head to therapy. So she calls her sister Lauren, and, she's talking to Lauren, and she's just trying to get advice from Lauren on what to do. And, we find out that Lauren is actually, not with her child's father anymore, which I didn't know that. And Lauren is talking about, she doesn't want that for Portia. She wants, better for Portia. She wants Portia to be able to raise her child with Dennis. And, I definitely agree with that. Like, I'm pretty sure it would be difficult, it's easy in a two-parent household, but it's even harder when the parents, are sharing custody of you and, the baby is bouncing from house to house. So I definitely understand that aspect. So then we see Portia, she goes to therapy. And who the hell did she go to? Dr. fucking Sherry. I'm just like, oh my God. Dr. Sherry can even help the Braxtons. Like, what the fuck? Why are we going to Dr. Sherry? Somebody explain that shit to me. why are we going to Dr. Sherry? But 35 minutes later, Portia comes out and she's crying. And I'm like, well, it's Dr. Sherry. Dr. Sherry, and no shade against Dr. Sherry. I mean, Dr. Sherry must be a great doctor. But for reality TV purposes, no. I mean, look at the Braxton sisters. I mean, she can even help those. Oh, God, she can help the Braxtons. So then we see Portia at her house, and then Lauren comes over, and she says it didn't go well with me and Dennis, and she doesn't think she can do it basically, and she said, I asked the questions that I wanted to hear, and then when I got the response, oh, excuse me, y'all, I mushed him. I'm like, well, damn, you mushed him, and she said, and she left, and this is once again Lauren just telling her like, hey, when I was pregnant with my child, my child's father cheated on me, and again, Lauren is telling Portia she doesn't want Portia to go through the same stuff that she went through. But you guys, that was basically this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think we got one more episode without Nene. So be sure to like the video, leave your comments, hit the bell notification button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and I will see you guys later. So peace out.